Hey, good morning. It's Friday, November 6th. Closing end of this week, this election week. The first time we've had that in United States history anyway. I'm going to finish up Psalm 13. We looked at the beginning yesterday where the focus, David was crying out to the Lord, how much longer will he have to wait for God's salvation and care? But yet the very fact that he is reaching out to God and asking that question is also his assurance, because he knows that God is there. And then in verse 3, in the second half, the theme shifts to David reaching out and connecting with God personally. Yahweh, this personal name of God. Again, your translations will say Lord, but Lord is not a name, it's a title. Yahweh is an intimate, personal covenant name that God gave to Israel, and that's why it's important for us to hang on to it. Connects with Jesus. He's a person. God is a person. He is our friend. So he cries out to Yahweh, his God, his friend, his intimate caregiver, his provider, his shepherd, his lover, and he cries out to him, "Give light to my eyes, lest I sleep in death, lest my enemies say I have trounced him, I have beaten him, lest my adversaries rejoice because I stagger." The give light to my eyes is literally like energy flowing into his body from the truth of God. There's a similar reference to in 1 Samuel when Jonathan eats the honey from the honeycomb and immediately his eyes light up. Give me that kind of energy, David is saying. Light up my soul, my spirit. Because if I don't, then I'm overwhelmed. My enemies will say they have defeated me. And essentially, when I stagger, God's name will be dishonored. It always comes back to this idea of living for the glory of God and his honor and not ours. But in verse 5, I have trusted in your unfailing love. That is your Hesed love. Love that never ends. Let my heart rejoice in your salvation. Not in my circumstances, but in your salvation. And then I will sing to my friend, to Yahweh, to this one who cares for me. For he has cared so completely for me. Some translations will say, for he has been so good to me, and that's right. But this, I love the way Dale Ralph Davis translates this. I will sing to Yahweh, for he has cared so completely for me. And again, we don't see that by circumstances. We see that by faith and trusting the word of God over where we are, what our observation of our circumstances are about. Let me read to you a comment that Davis makes about this section. When he talks about this turnaround, these pronouns of crying out to God, there are sometimes signals of turnarounds in the Psalms, emphatic pronouns like we meet in the first part of Psalm the first 5. For I have trusted in your unfailing love, there's that personal connection. Notice as David is not looking inward here. He is not saying that he has gotten a fresh shot of self-esteem or that he has begun to feel better about himself. No, the energy that he got in verse 3 is from the Lord. It's not from a self-assessment or pumping himself up. No, he fastens on to Yahweh's character. He is latched on to the unfailing Hesed of love of God. And right now, that's what you and I need. In the midst of our mess and our circumstances, read these short 6 lines in Psalm 13. Let them encourage you because they speak of reality. And David is not just making a quick change from how bad things are to how faithful God is. Rather, he is letting the reality of God's truth sink in. Psalm 13 is a summary of the way life is. Sometimes we need these compact, concise, powerful reminders of God's care. May God give us the energy that makes our eyes radiant, like Psalm 19 says. Because we are filled with the energy of God, because we remember his Hesed love, his unfailing love. Because God my covenant God, my covenant friend, my covenant protector, the one who knows me intimately, will never leave me. And as David says in Psalm 23, rather, his Hesed love will pursue me all the days of my life. And that's the hope for today. Psalm 13, it's a really, really good place for us to hang out when things seem kind of crazy or we're discouraged. And we'll see you again tonight, Lord willing. God is faithful. Whatever is happening personally in the country, around the world, God is faithful. Our mission is to bring honor to his name. You have a great day. Bye-bye.